1 Timothy 6:10 tells people that money is the root of all evil. 2 Corinthians 4:4 speaks of the devil as the god of this world and age, perhaps pointing us to more fitting maxim of the love of this world is the root of all evil. But then again, that doesn't work either. If we say the love of this world for itself is the root of all evil, what about evil that's of a psychological or a spiritual nature with a detachment to concepts of this world? Now, we can look at certain ruling families, how they, for hundreds of years, more and more, have pitted the nations and the groups within those nations against each other for the sake of wealth. But as I said before, there is the amoral and immoral evil that relates to more than just money. If you look at how people mistreat each other, it tends to be on the secular use of the world. They want the world for itself. It's not that the world is evil in a stereotypical Gnostic way. Of course, the Gnostics didn't really believe this. This was more or less a projection of the Christians in their version of the matter. Because the material world is a means. But one of the things that has happened is the making our economic system about faith and money, not even in the base material itself. That they have stopped backing the money in metal. They have connected the money to the interest and the unlawful gangs of all sorts, both in terms of this world's laws and in terms of the spiritual laws, whether they be individual or broader. And to represent this, we have seen how the state, called the little Satan, was financed and brought about by the same people who caused the National Socialist German Worker Party to rise, and the USSR before that finances the political sides towards their own ends. And because of who the majority of these people are, they've acted like, oh, you can't criticize this behavior because it's racists. They throw out that term, anti-Semite. And it's like, well, it's not just that one group, either an ethnic, usually pseudo-Semitic group, or, religion. It doesn't have anything to do with that. That religion condemns that. And certainly this modern state, both in a conservative and a fundamentalist view, operates outside of the terms in which in their own scripture would say. So they've brought about another order. And this other order connects to stuff going back thousands and thousands of years. The Consolidation tribe. Well, their traditions have seeped into both of the groups that I'm talking about, and certainly this new secular form that they're not even liberal. They're not even reform people that, trying to change the rules, but they're keeping with the so-called spirit, they think, or at least that's what they claim for themselves. The secular order. So those who are in this world for itself, not even the spiritual thing, that is a root of evil. But then again, there is the people the people behind it that are connecting to these ancient beings, the serving of Moloch, the serving of Mammon, not as terms for money or the material world, but actual beings. You will find the symbols aren't what one thinks. You will find a current in rituals and in the changing of rituals. You will find it weaved within the fiction, and the fiction that is being promoted, 90% of it from a particular group of a certain type. Now, there is the more educational and stuff media, and that's not so controlled from that angle. And of course, we know that they're taking over the place that used to be called the government of Satan. They're the invaders that Tanakh, what they call the Old Testament the Old Testament rearranges and has some misleading translations. The great house of Satan, in the term that they put for the place from 1920 to 1948 in particular, the wallowers for the she-Satan. These secular people are the true Goyim. And as we find from, I forget this, there was a book published in 1925 out of New York or something like that. It said that the Second World War will be caused, and that Second World War will create that state that we're calling the Little Satan. And that state, it will be used towards a Third World War that will fulfill the prophecies of pretty much every faith, that there's going to come a time when the vast majority of human beings will die in a war. And there'll be a great painful smoke seen in the sky. And there'll be an invading nation at the start of it all. The provoker, the great oppressor in the land, the tool of societies linking and influencing nations through whatever type, through whatever form, through whatever side. They're working us both,